I've run track for years. I've coached for over 10 years. And these are 5 of the most common reasons why you might be slow. First and foremost are our arms. I see this all the time where our arms are not swinging the way that they're supposed to be. There's a huge difference from how we use our arms in soccer, basketball, baseball, football, whatever it may be, and track. We want to be swinging our arms all the way through our hips, just like the professionals do. Here we have Usain. Look at his left arm is swinging all the way through his hips. Look how many poses of him, how many pictures of him posing. That's dope. But we found the one picture we needed, which is of him running. And you see his arm, left arm, all the way back through his hips, still at this, 90, not very rigid 90, and the other arm swinging all the way through. A pro tip for this is you can do arm swings in the mirror, whether you're standing or seating. The way you know you're swinging your arms correctly with the proper amount of force is if your body wants to move forward. If you're swinging your arms, you're doing your arm swings for practice, and you're just stagnant and there's no momentum being generated behind you, pushing you forward, they're not strong enough. They're not powerful enough. When I swing my arms, as I'm swinging them, I want to be feeling like I need to be moving forward. That's how I know I'm doing them correctly. And if you notice, this is another great thing that is in Huberman's video, which I covered.
I said is a whole body activity. The spine probably being, if not the most important part of that, one of the most important part of it. So we have to get some movement of the spine. So if you think about sprinting, the hips oscillate and they undulate. They come forward and back and they go up and down. And the shoulders counter oscillate and counter undulate. So it ends up looking like this. And then you have the spine that rotates, laterally flexes and extends and flexes to basically counteract all these forces that are going on in the shoulder and the hips. So it has to move. Right, so remember where the shoulders are doing this and the shoulder blades are going juk, 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 and the rib cage is also moving as well. If you see people who don't do this well, what you see is the torso just stacked and square and the arms just sort of doing this, and the shoulder blades not moving. The shoulder blades has to move. Like the ones who really look efficient and athletic, it looks like this, right? You can tell.
And that takes us into tip number 2, which is knees and hips. One of the more common problems I see is, yes, our hips are not mobile enough and they're not strong enough. And the knees do not come high enough, but not for the purpose of lifting our knees, but it is for the purpose of jumping from foot to foot in repetitive motion. I tell people all the time, sprinting is jumping really fast. It's a series of jumps repeated over and over and over as fast as you can. We want the leg to cycle through automatically on its own. You want it to be like a chain reaction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And the action of knee drive doesn't come from pulling our knees up. It actually comes from putting force into the track. Okay, so one of the things he has to work on is his ankles. He loses a lot in his ankles, and it used to be worse than this. So he's made great progress. But if you look, he's not stiff in his ankle. He's collapsing. The foot is once it hits, there's no stiffness there. It just collapses. And then as a result, his whole body collapses. And you see how he's not elevating off the track, right? He's almost catching himself. He's not really jumping from foot to foot. It's okay. His arms are decent, at least. Now this one already looks better. If you notice, he's not waiting for the track anymore. Look at that, cycling under his hips. So we clearly had some sort of discussion in between the last one that he did and this one that he did. This is much better. Cycling back underneath himself. And look at how much more distance he's gaining. I'm going to bring up the first one again. Now look, he's just this foot comes up and it doesn't cycle back. It's just waiting on him to land, collapsing. Much better. Jumping. Gaining more distance. Let's see, the foot is not as collapsed. Look at that. Sure, it does come all the way down to the track. But he's pulling through already. He's not. Good. I like those better. Again, for all the reasons that we talked about, he's able to strike under his hips because he's pushing off the ground better. It's like chicken and egg. It's like, is he cycling under and that's what's making him push harder, or is he pushing harder and that's what's making him cycle under? It's yes, and it's both, right? So you heard me tell him to push, drive your foot underneath you, push, drive it underneath you. That one was a little bit weak. Did you see that? That was not as good as this one. Boom. Look at the distance he just covered off of that step. And then look at the difference in the distance covered off of that step. That was a bad one. That right foot, that was good. I think he has a right foot. Right foot. That one's bad again. That one's good. So we got to even that up somehow with him as I continue to work with him. So when I'm sprinting correctly and I'm putting the proper amount of force into the track, that knee cycles through on its own and it automatically comes up. As long as I have dorsiflexion, as long as my arms are in the right place, it'll happen on its own. Tip number 3, I see this all the time, especially with my high school athletes, is doing the warm-up just to get warm. I know this sounds counterintuitive. It is a warm-up, but our goal in addition to getting warm is practicing the right fundamentals. One person who does this excellent is Noah Lyles. When you see Noah Lyles warm up, you begin to understand why he is what he is, which is an Olympic champion. Everything he does in his warm up is intentional. It's with the same form he uses when he's running. And, you know, if I had to guess, he spends an hour warming up. He does bands before, he gets massages, he does, then he goes through his proper warm up. He's never caught jogging. So all these things add up. Right? When you get through your warm up, you don't want to be, it shouldn't take 15 minutes. It's not long if you shouldn't have sprinted 0 times before you begin your sprinting workout. You should be doing build-ups. You should be doing some overspeed drills. But if your warm up isn't 30 minutes long, where you're beginning to sweat, then you haven't warmed up well enough. I see it all the time. People do stretches, they do high knees, and then they're good to go. On top of that, they have shorts and a t-shirt on and it's 60 degrees. You know, go watch the professionals. They have sweats, they have a top on, even when it's hot. They do their full warm up. They get some block starts in on like the practice track. They've done build-ups. You know, when they get onto the track, you only have, 10, 11 seconds in the 100. You only have 20, 21 seconds, 22 seconds in the 2. You only have, 50, 51 in the 4. That's not enough time to come lukewarm. You have to be warm when you step on the track. Common reason why you're slow, number 4. And this is the biggest reason. If you are enjoying this, go ahead and like and subscribe for me, please. That really helps the algorithm figure out who to serve this to and to help them know that this is good content. Tip number 4 is inconsistency in training. I can't tell you how many people come to me with 2 weeks left in the season, or they come to me after basketball, soccer practice, or they take a week off, they come back, train for a week, they take a week off, they come back, they have a track meet, and they go, what happened? Well, you only train 1 week out of the month. You only train 2 weeks out of the month. That's not how you get great. That's not how you improve in anything, whether it's sports or academics or work or whatever it is. Showing up part-time isn't going to cut it. And that brings me to my final point, which is improper training. Jogging won't make you faster. Lifting weights won't make you faster. I'm not mistaken when I said lifting weights alone won't make you faster. There is no weight program that is going to make you speedy, fast. It can help, but it is not going to be the thing. So, I don't care what you squat or what you lunge or what you bench. You have to get on the field. You have to get on the track and you have to sprint. It's the only way. And then going for jogs. Jogging is not beneficial sprinting. It's completely different form. It's completely different mechanic. So, if you are interested in receiving proper training, I will have a link below to my training courses. And there's tons of resources on how to train efficiently. What time of the season to be on grass, what time of the season to be doing 300s, what time of the season to be doing 150s, to be doing plyometrics, all that kind of thing. Many resources you can find, and of course, I'm here to be a resource for you.
For long jump, you have to be fast. So I'd say a good 75% of long jump is your speed, and then the other, I guess, 25% is your ability to run off the board, and 5% is your hops. So that's most important. So for me, I like to sprint more, do shorter sprints, because the long jump is only about 30 meters, your runway, and then we might have a couple days of jump practice, but more so sprinting, which don't tell Coach Miller, but I actually like to sprint better than I like to jump. So.